Hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video I'm going to be reviewing another film that has been getting a lot of Oscar buzz. This movie has actually done extraordinarily well with critics and most recently the Golden Globes, the SAG Awards and all of that. So for sure I had to see this film and give you guys my thoughts on it. So in this video guys, I am going to be reviewing The Theory of Everything. That's a pretty ambitious title for a film, guys. So yes, guys, The Theory of Everything is a dramatic biopic directed by James Marsh, and it has two pretty dedicated stars, if you ask me. And again, guys, sorry for the overflow of movie reviews, but I am trying to throw all of these reviews at you. I have been watching all of these movies in order to get ready to put together my list of my top 10 best films of 2014. And in order to do so, I gotta watch all of these movies for you guys because you guys are awesome. So these movies need to be seen. So anyway, guys, The Theory of Everything. I honestly, truth be told, I didn't want, no part of me was just like, yeah, gotta go see this movie right as soon as it comes out. I watched the trailer and said, looks alright. I'll check it out. Maybe. I didn't even want to really see it at first. Then it starts getting all the Oscar buzz. Eddie Redmayne, Felicity Jones getting Oscar notice. Could possibly get nominated here or there. We don't know. So now I'm definitely going to have to check it out. And here I am, several days later, having watched The Theory of Everything. So with that said, guys, let's get into my actual review for the film. The first thing I'm going to start talking about is the story behind The Theory of Everything. Now, this film tells the story of the relationship between Stephen and Jane Hawking. Now, Stephen Hawking in this film is played by Eddie Redmayne, and as we all know, Stephen Hawking is a theoretical physicist who emerged from Cambridge University. He is incredibly intelligent. He has worked with, I guess, sort of theories on the black hole and time and life itself. And he's done all of these really, really big accomplishments. One of the great, I guess, scientific pioneers, if you'd say so. And early on in this film, he is diagnosed with motor neuron disease, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease, or otherwise known as ALS, which we all just did that insane, crazy challenge by dumping ice water over our heads this past summer. So yes, guys, Stephen Hawking is someone who has ALS. And he's diagnosed with that early in the movie, which basically slowly destroys and impairs your movements, your ability to move, and your body and stuff like that, and it eventually leaves him in a wheelchair with a mechanical speaking device. It brings him so close to the point where he can't even speak. And the one thing that is, I guess one of the things that is keeping him going, and one thing that started right before he was diagnosed with this disease, was a very committed relationship between him and a woman by the name of Jane Wilde, played in this movie by Felicity Jones. The two of them start a relationship, they eventually get married, and have a really interesting yet very difficult life together because of what they have to go through, and they are determined to beat the odds, pretty much. And that is the story behind The Theory of Everything. So, yes, guys, you know, that is actually a pretty interesting story. The fact that the filmmakers tried to go down the route where they aren't focusing on Stephen Hawking's main accomplishments. Those accomplishments are in this film. The things that he are working on, they are in this film. But they are like a side story. The main central story, or the main focus, is on this relationship that Stephen Hawking had with Jane Wilde for a good majority of their life. And the fact that things are so difficult for the two of them to function in this relationship because she can't really have a husband because he's in this chair, and he can't even experience a wife properly because she's always caring for him or caring for their children or something like that, you know? So because of all that, it's extremely difficult, and the fact that they are determined to beat the odds and remain together, yet they are still dealing with these difficulties and these challenges that they're all facing, is pretty incredible, actually. And I like how the filmmakers took that route of not fully focusing on Stephen Hawking's Why do I keep saying his name like that? Stephen Hawking's accomplishments and everything like that. Nevertheless, this isn't an entirely groundbreaking film, and even though it doesn't focus on Stephen Hawking's main accomplishments, that's not the core idea or the core story going on behind this movie. I think that this is a really incredibly well-acted film and a really intriguing, really moving story, beautiful story. That was very well written, in my opinion. That's really what I think everyone is going to take away from the theory of everything. And it was actually, this movie was actually quite of a bit surprising for me in that it went the route it went. And the fact that these two went through so much, and it wasn't just the fact that Stephen Hawking has motor neuron disease. They are two different people when you look at it. He really doesn't believe in God. Jane believes in God. It's not like Stephen Hawking is an atheist. It's just he believes in how he looks to science when it comes to how the world was created. She is Catholic and believes in God. So it was a mix of all these different things that was going on between the two of them, and they still made it work. And that itself is amazing in its own right, and that's something I really liked about this movie. And I know that the scientific aspects of this movie are slightly overwhelming, and they are going to be overwhelming for a few of you who aren't used to hearing about this stuff. If this isn't your area of expertise, there are going to be some things here that are going to confuse you. Namely, there's the scene where you have a character writing this long equation that I'm not talking like a simple quadratic mathematical equation that I could figure out, but this giant equation that you're not going to really understand. It's because that's not our area of expertise, unless it is. Then you will understand it, and I applaud you. Anyway, guys, getting into my thoughts on the cast for the theory of everything. I think that the two leading performances are one of the best things you had going for this type of movie. And let's start off with Eddie Redmayne. And here's the thing with his performance. This is, out of all the performances I've seen this year, I think this is the performance I respect the most. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I think this was probably, arguably, one of the most difficult performances to actually do. And I think the reason is, not only did Eddie Redmayne have to capture the awkward, sort of quiet, reserved side of Stephen Hawking early on in the film when he was a young teenager, which he absolutely does, and I like how he did that. I think he pulled that off perfectly. But he also, especially towards the end of the film, has to completely alter his own voice to make it seem like he's being consumed by this disease and like he can't even hardly speak anymore. And the fact that he actually does that and pulls it off perfectly, and I absolutely bought the fact that he was suffering from this disease. I was like, wow, that's some pretty damn good acting there. And I have an immense amount of respect for any actor that attempts to go above and beyond the performance they are trying to give. And I think that's what Eddie Redmayne did. I think he pulled it off excellently. He did a great job in the film to have to keep pretty much the same facial expression in several shots when Stephen Hawking is in the mechanical chair and it has the speaking device that is speaking for him. His expression can't change. He can't frown or anything like that. He has to have the same sort of facial expression on his face, and to keep that thing going, I mean, there are some tough things that I'm pretty sure Eddie Redmayne had difficulty pulling off in this movie. You know, to move his hands and make them look like he couldn't move them anymore, you know, to nail that movement, that's tough. And I gotta definitely praise Eddie Redmayne for that. He gave an absolutely heartbreaking, warm performance as Stephen Hawking, and I absolutely cared and sympathized for this character, and I was just amazed at the character itself for everything that he's accomplished despite this disease. And for that reason, this is sort of an uplifting story. Not just a love story, an uplifting love story, an uplifting story itself about anyone who's dealing with something like this. That, yes, you can beat the odds. They said early in the film, you have 2 years left to live. Things don't look good. I think he beat the odds, and that was great. So, an absolutely heartbreaking, unbelievable, definitely Oscar-worthy performance from Eddie Redmayne. And Felicity Jones was also really good in the movie. The thing that I liked about her the most is that her character and him are opposite. And she has to keep this level head in order to care for their children, to care for her own husband. And I think she really pulled it off quite well. And there are scenes where she wants to break, or there are scenes where you could tell that as the film progresses especially, things are getting hard on her. She really doesn't kind of want to have to deal with this anymore. And she sort of needs help. She seeks other people. She seeks another guy. You know, all that happens, and you could tell that this is just affecting her. And their love story is just absolutely incredible. And Felicity Jones also did a very, very good job in this movie. Forgot to mention when I was talking about Eddie Redmayne, there is a shot where he is out of his chair and he is climbing up the stairs. That shot was entirely heartbreaking and extremely well pulled off. And I really felt for the guy. So, just wanted to mention that. But the performances are great from Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones. Absolutely great. Getting into my rating for The Theory of Everything, I think this is an absolutely heartbreaking, really depressing piece of filmmaking that tells a really, really exciting, unbelievable story that I don't think we've really seen before in a movie. We haven't seen a story as quite unbelievable as this in regards to the love story that these two have, or the specific story itself. And that's something I liked about this movie. And it was done perfectly through the performances, the writing, the directing, and the score. I think all of that really worked for The Theory of Everything. And the thing that I like about the thing I like the most about this movie is that it isn't just a story of their relationship or of Stephen Hawking's accomplishments. When you look down on it and you sort of analyze this film more, it's a story about love and how love persists. And even though their relationship in this film hits a snag at some point in the film and a lot of different things go on, the way the film concluded was perfect for me, and I'll tell you guys why. It showed further that love persists overall. Even if you've been through a bunch of crap, love is the number one thing that is just going to keep going. And the last shot just still shows that the two of them loved each other no matter what they have had to go through. For that reason, I'm giving The Theory of Everything a solid 8.5 out of 10, or a grade of a B. I think this is a very good movie. I think this is a very moving picture. I think this is a pretty unbelievable, crazy story that is told, and I loved how it was told and brought to the screen. And I think it definitely needs to be seen. Getting into things I loved about this movie, I think the performances were incredible from Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones. So much was demanded from them, especially from Eddie Redmayne. And because things were so difficult and because they pulled off these performances completely realistically, but especially for Eddie Redmayne, I just have an immense amount of admiration and respect for seeing this performance pulled off and seeing everything he had to go through. Same thing last year with Matthew McConaughey. I respected and admired him for all that weight he had to lose to pull off that role. And I admire Eddie Redmayne for the transformation he had to go through to become Stephen Hawking. And that's what I loved about The Theory of Everything. I thought the film was very well directed and well shot by Stephen Hawking. By James Marsh, excuse me. I thought the film looked really good. And I liked how they color corrected the movie, because I doubt that in the locations where they shot the movie, the color it actually looked in the final product. But there was sort of like a blue kind of like hue going on throughout the whole movie. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I enjoyed the color style overall. I think it looked different. It looked like they had used like an Instagram filter or something for the whole movie. I thought it was cool. I thought it looked different. I thought it didn't really add or take away from the movie, but I thought it was interesting. So that worked, in my opinion. James Marsh did a good job. Not an Oscar-worthy director or anything like that, but still good. Johan Johansson, who did the score for the movie, he also did the score last year for Prisoners, I think did an amazing job with the score. Every single scene, the score is so prevalent, it's so there, you can hear it, it adds to the emotion in some scenes, it adds to the heartbreaking feelings that you're going to feel as you watch certain scenes. It beautifully matched each sequence, and I think it was incredible. I think it's one of the best scores of the year. Good job, Johan Johansson. You are a great composer. I liked the whole setting in, like in England. I think that really worked out pretty well for the movie. I was gonna say Ireland because I have Calvary in my head. No, not Ireland. I think that worked. The production design was great. The costumes were great, and overall the story was really good. In that they brought this unbelievable story to the big screen, and the fact that they still have love as the overriding message of what is really. What their relationship really boils down to, and how strong that their love really was for each other. I think that really worked for the film as well. That's what I really liked about Theory of Everything. It's a really touching and sweet movie, but I don't think it's a movie that is going to be one to see more than once. I think it's that movie you're going to watch it once and be like, okay, that was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. Not like I'm going to watch it, or not like I need to watch it again or anything like that. And that's how I feel about Theory of Everything. Getting into a few flaws I had with the film, I feel that a few things may have been rushed in regards to Stephen and Jane's relationship, namely their marriage and the scenes where they're having kids, the shots where they're having kids. Basically, they were shot as if they were done on like a home movie or a home video type of thing, like someone was recording them, you know, while these events were going on, and then it's like they're watching it currently. So I thought they glossed over their marriage and their having children. I think they could have taken out a scene or two and focused on that more, and focused on a couple other things that they breezed over more. And I think a few of the scientific things that were going on in the film, or the meanings that they were trying to talk about or discuss in the movie, I think they went into them too much, and namely, like, there's a few things that are going to confuse you if this isn't your area of expertise, like the equation on the blackboard, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. It's going to throw you off a little bit, and it kind of did me, even though I think for the most part the story is easy to follow. So with all that said, guys, that's my opinion on the Theory of Everything. 8.5 out of 10, or a B if you guys, I definitely recommend you guys check out the movie at matinee price. I think you guys will enjoy it for the performances, and the story itself is really exciting. So, that's all I have to say about Theory of Everything, guys. If you saw the movie, please let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.